Well, the FBI is investigating Wednesday's stabbing at an airport in Flint, Michigan as a terror attack. 50-year-old Amor Fatoui has been charged for allegedly attacking Lieutenant Jeff Neville. The suspect is reportedly a dual citizen of Canadian and Tunisian descent. During the attack, police said Fatoui shouted something similar to "You have killed people in Syria, Iraq, and Afghanistan, and we are all going to die." CBS News Justice reporter Paula Reid joins us now from Washington with more. Paula, what do we know about the suspect and what his motives might have been?
Rena, the FBI right now is trying to figure out exactly what motivated this attack and how he became radicalized. Most of what we know about his frame of mind comes from his alleged statement shortly before he committed this attack. He allegedly yelled "Allahu Akbar" and talked about the U.S. killing people in Syria, Iraq, and Afghanistan. So clearly he was radicalized, but the question the FBI is now trying to determine is whether or not he was inspired specifically by ISIS propaganda, of which there is an enormous amount online and in other platforms, or whether or not it was more of a generalized radicalization, something more along the lines of the Tsarnaev brothers, who took in a lot of different kinds of jihadi propaganda before committing their attack in Boston. But we have learned some personal details about him from his court appearance yesterday. Rena, we learned that while he was born in Tunisia, he's been in Canada for 10 years. He's married and has 3 children and was apparently working as a truck driver until about 2 weeks ago. His lawyer says he has no history of mental health issues or drug abuse.
That's interesting, no history of mental health issues or drug abuse. Fatoui made his first appearance, Paula, in federal court today. What are the charges exactly against him?
Right now, he faces a charge of committing an act of violence at an airport. He faces up to 20 years in prison for that offense. And depending on what else this investigation reveals, more charges could be added at a later date. His next court appearance isn't until next week.
So the FBI is investigating this as terrorism. Where does the case go next, Paula?
They're going to continue to try to figure out who he was communicating with, what kind of resources he may have himself obtained or been given by other people. I think they really need to know more about what brought him to this moment where he committed this stabbing. One important note I will say is that there is some surveillance video that is used as evidence in this case. Now, law enforcement officials say in that surveillance video, you see him walking into an airport bathroom shortly before the stabbing with 2 bags, but coming out with no bags. But Rena, they say that the bomb squad looked at those bags and say there was no evidence of explosives there. So at this point, it does not appear there was another phase of this attack.
Well, that's good to know. But have we heard anything further, Paula, about the condition of the officer?
We have. One bit of good news in this reporting is that he is in stable condition. His wounds are considered to be superficial at this point. So that is one bright spot in this very tragic incident.
Paula, any word from the Trump administration? How are they responding? Do you think this will fuel maybe the president's push for a travel ban?
Well, it's possible. Right now, we know the president was briefed yesterday on this incident since it is a national security incident. In terms of the travel ban, I think this incident gives both sides of fodder. The president, his supporters can certainly use the fact that someone came into this country and committed an attack like this as further evidence of why we need a travel ban, why we need more aggressive vetting of the people coming into this country. But of course, Tunisia was not part of either the first travel ban or the second travel ban. He came from Canada. Certainly that country has not been subject to a travel ban either. So yes, Rena, I do think that this case could be used, but it could be used by both sides.
That's a good point. Tunisia wasn't part of that original travel ban. Our CBS News Justice reporter Paula Reid in Washington. Paula, thank you for joining us.